Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes and I'm a gaited horse trainer in Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're talking about how to build endurance for your gaited horse and how to build speed in the gait. One reason I'm talking about this is in the last month I was working with a horse trying to build up her endurance for gaiting, and it kind of amazed me how many rides I had to do before she was able to gait like a quarter mile or half a mile or do these long rides. And I know so many trail riders, they ride their horse and they go for 3, 4, 12-mile trails, and sometimes they wonder why their horse isn't gaiting the whole way or not keeping up. And I want to propose that maybe the idea that your horse isn't gaiting the whole way is because they're not fit or they're not in shape or they haven't built up the endurance. And I want to talk about maybe how long that actually takes to build that up. So I've got some videos to show you. I'm going to jump right in. First video, these are all videos of a mare called Lottie. And she's like a 9 or 10-year-old Rocky Mountain mare. She was very trotty and pacey. She could easily do both, and the owner had done an excellent job with head down, but this horse really wasn't gaiting. So I spent the first about 2 weeks, not quite 2 weeks, working on softness because she would brace when she went faster than a walk, and that really stopped her, and then lean back. And we did this in the arena for about 2 weeks before we first went on the road. Almost all the videos are going to be on the private training group. Many of them are already there, and I'm going to put them all in one section. And you can take a look at that if you're on the private training group. Otherwise, these are going to be little snippets of how I trained. So I've done the arena work with her, and this first video is the very first time I take her outside the arena. She's well trained, so it wasn't an issue of like, is she going to be scared? Though there were some things that were scary to her, but it was how much would she gait at the beginning. So I want you to see how much she's gaiting on our first ride out. So this is on November 2nd, so that's important, November 2nd, and take a look at this video. But we're going to work on gait out here. Going to warm up at the walk a little bit, practice all of the things. Don't mind my muddy horse. I hate grooming. And we had quite a bit of rain here recently, so. Good girl. Nice, relaxed, low head, which is good. She'd been taught that really well. But the question is, if she paces, which I'm assuming she's going to do some today, what do we do? Okay, so that's pacing, so that's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to stop, and we're just going to lean back. We're going to have her lean back. And this part is, remember, the part you don't rush. Even though we all want to, it's the lean back. Good. And we're just going to walk. Good. And remember, one of the reasons she could be pacing is if the rocks do bother her feet. So we're going to stop again. Good girl. Lean back. Good. Good, she gaited. So because this is her first time riding out and she went right into gait that time, we're going to give her a treat. But I'm overall not going to use much food at all on this trip unless I need to get her brain back, like for safety. Good girl. Good. Now we are also on a slight downhill. I don't expect it to make too much of a difference with as much gaiting as she was doing yesterday. But I want people to know that uphill and downhill is not crucial to get. Good girl. Yes! Good girl! Beautiful gait. She started out just a little pacey, but a little bit of contact, which she softened to right away. She didn't pull down or brace, and she got right into gait, and then we walked. Good. And then at this point, with your horse, you can decide if you want to, use food, stop and eat grass, just stop and praise. Good girl. All right, good. So she was gaiting, a little sideways looking at stuff, not bad. And almost a little trotty. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Good. Trotting. Good girl. Good girl. Now I can fix the trot, no problem. The harder thing to fix is the pace. So the fact that on our first ride out, we're getting more trot or gait than pace is thrilling. So like today, if she trots, I'm gonna praise her for that. And then like maybe tomorrow, if she trots, we'll fix the trot. There's the trot, or a broken trot, and then a gait right there. Broken trot. Good girl. Good. That's lovely. Good girl. And again, if you have a pacey horse and you start to get that trot, that is fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm not sure where the audio was on that, but I just wanted to show you the beginning. So she can gait a few steps, but then we walk. And that is how you build a horse to have longer and longer gait, is you get a couple steps and you either walk or you stop and praise. That's really important to recognize, that is we are not only building their brain, building the neural connections, but we're also building the endurance for their muscles. And I was surprised at how long it took. It's long and short. So this is going to be November 5th. So that previous video was November 2nd. This is November 5th. So a few days later. And I'm going to show you some of it and just of her, like the process of getting a little bit of gait, walking, you know, praising, all that stuff. If you have any questions about what I did, just go ahead and ask. Here we go. A little pacey, so I ask her to soften, give a little. Here, actually, we're starting out on the driveway, and I just wanted to show you like a little bit of gait and then walk. Getting just a tiny, tiny bit pacey today, but she hasn't tried to do a hard trot, which is excellent. Good. I'm not sure that the speed is accurate here. Beautiful. Good girl. Good. That was lovely. Good girl. And whoa. Whoa. Good girl. Nice job. So that was really good, so I'm going to stop and praise. She took a deep breath. If your horse does not want to stop and stand at this point and you're working on gait, don't fight with them. Just keep walking. Good girl. But she took a deep breath. One thing that's interesting to note for the people who believe that if you just pet them and keep going, that's enough. Horses often won't take that deep breath while they're moving. They take that deep breath when they stop. And there's almost no substitute for that. Now, also, the question came up is when do you stop using stop and praise? Good. Good girl. Well, you never stop using it. You only change when you use it. So stop and praise is used when you're teaching something new. Now, it doesn't matter if new means new location or new side or new application. So when she first started to gait, I'd stop and praise for 2 steps. And once she started to understand that, I'd stop and praise for 3 steps. Or I'd stop and praise when she did it right away without me having to fix it. Or she just went right into gait. And so now, you know, she can gait 10 feet out here. She can also gait 30 feet out here. So I gradually increase as she shows me she can do it. If we were to go to a new location and her head was up, we may, and she started pacing, we may go back to stopping and praising for 10 steps if she can keep her head down. We may stop and praise for head down because it's new, because it's a new location. I'm going to keep her on the driveway so I can really hear it. Good girl. So you see we gait a little bit, get very nice gait, don't have to do much correcting, and then we walk. And what you're going to see over the next rides is I'm going to gradually gait more and walk less. But if you push for too much, if you push for 100 feet of gait and she gets pacey, you've lost your chance to slow down and praise your horse. Good girl. So we're going to stop. Good girl. I'm going to go, Good girl. She may or may not take a breath. That's okay. But by me breathing, I've given her that opportunity to relax. There, she did take a deep breath. Good girl. So we've gone about 1/3 of a mile. Got to keep her going. Don't let her go too slowly. No partly walking, partly gaiting. Good. And then walk. Good. And this is exactly how I train. Like, this horse had already been taught head down, but this is exactly how I train horses to gait longer and longer. Good job. Now we'll see if cars will slow down. Good. Oh, this one is slowing down. That's nice. Normally I would ask her to gait, but we're going to wait for the car to go past. Good. Good. I can feel her getting pacey as she speeds up. So I'm going to ask her to slow down. Okay, so she's not actually gaiting there, so we're just going to stop. Ask her to do that lean back. Good. Much better. And then, before she breaks into a pace, we walk. Good girl. Good girl. And we're looking at lots of stuff. All right, well, at the risk of boring everybody, we're going to go ahead and skip ahead in this video closer to the end. And the reason I want to do that, I got to figure out where to start, is I want to point out that, so this is near the end. This video is 20 minutes long. We didn't do a full mile, and we're coming back and she's getting a little tired and she's getting sweaty. And so I want you guys to see that it's asking for a little bit of gait and walking, and then doing that over the next few weeks to be able to gait farther. Now, what I want to do here is show you 10 days later. So we're going to skip it. That was November 5th. We're going to skip to November 15th. And in November 15th, I want you to see like how much she's gaiting and like what the difference is now that she's a little more advanced and starting to build up her muscles. But also notice that I can't just gait 2 miles. Yes, we work on some speed. Yes, she's gaiting a lot, but it's not like she can just go and 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 go, even with the good training that I'm doing. So as you're getting your horses ready for trail rides, be aware, and this goes for whether they're gaited or not, of how much you have to do to be able to get them to gait a long ways. Now, you could have a horse that's gaiting pretty well and you take them on a trail ride and they got lots of energy and they can go farther, and that's fine. But if you're struggling with your horse breaking gait, realize that part of it could be because they are not in shape. Now, Wendy comments, only comment, so man, you guys, not very interesting topic, I guess. She says she starts out her horse as soon as the winter breaks with half hour for several days, then an hour. Throw in hills if you can find them, backing up a lot. They will sweat more with their winter coats, so allow for longer cooling. So yes, that's all good. I would say this, half an hour for several days is nothing compared to getting a horse in shape. You'll notice that most of my rides are 20 to 30 minutes, and they were for like a whole month. So I actually think if you go for half an hour and then jump to an hour, you could also be causing your horse to not be in shape. Now, every horse is different. Gauge your horse, gauge what they can do, and definitely allow for longer cooling down. In the later videos when the horses have heavier coats and the temperatures were, and like the temperature got cold, which I think in this next one I'm wearing a winter coat, I do allow for that time. I don't get them as sweaty and I give longer cooling times. So yes, that's a really good point, especially with the winter coat. Make sure that they're not getting too chilled. So let's go ahead and jump to this next video. This is again November 15th, so 10 days after the previous video. And oh wait, I don't know why we're up here. There we go. We're gonna start on the road because I want you guys to hear this. Good. I can feel her getting pacey as she speeds up. So I'm going to ask her to slow down. Okay, so she's not actually gaiting there, so we're just going to stop. Ask her to do that lean back. Good. Much better. And then, before she breaks into a pace, we walk. Good girl. Good girl. And we're looking at lots of stuff. Remember, beautiful gaiting. New could just be new location. Good. I shared a post on my Ivy's Glide Gait page and talked. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so hopefully it didn't cut out when you wanted to hear it. One thing to notice is how much she's gaiting now compared to 10 days ago, but I still let her walk and rest. And you allow them to until they break that, and then you can help them get it back, and then you release again. If you always hold rein pressure, even if it's a little bit of contact, you're always going to have to. So my reins are loose. There's a tiny bit pacey. There's some dogs running at us. Good. All right. Now we have dogs outside the fence. What are you doing, puppy? You're not supposed to be here. Go home. All right. Good girl. She obviously doesn't even care about the dogs. Good girl. And walk. And there, like, I slowed her down, but I really felt like she could have kept going. Hi, puppy. Don't bite the horse or you're going to regret it. Okay. All right, a little over half a mile. So when I start little trotty, so I lift up. There we go, and then I loosen. Lift up again. Perfect gait, so I walk. Good girl. Good. And again, I felt like she could go farther than what she just did. So when I'm training distance gaited like this, I usually go about 2 miles. So the first ride takes some time, so it's been 10 minutes. She's already gaiting better than some horses I've done, because sometimes the first rides take almost an hour. But once they start gaiting a lot, then we start getting done in about 25 minutes or less. Because we gait almost the whole way. But we're gaiting about 2 miles. Little trotty. Little fast. Keep her slow. She's not ready to go faster yet. Got donkeys and alpacas. Good. She got tiny pacey. Little pacey there. All right, there she's getting pacey. Oh, we're going to lean back. Good. And go forward. Little pacey. That was a little better there. Good girl. Good girl. So I want to try. Okie dokie. I don't know if you guys are getting bored yet watching this video. Yes, there's a cute little dog there. That's fine. It's a little crazy. But so this is basically not quite 2 weeks after starting riding on the road, and she's gaiting a lot. And she was gaiting a lot more by the time we were finished with her training. And I want you guys to see that even a horse that's in training was getting ridden about 30 minutes, not kind of, you know, tacking up and warm up, but getting ridden about 30 minutes a day, and only some of that was gaiting, a lot of it was walking. She was starting to get really fit and really in shape, but that was with another additional, like, total of like 3.5 weeks of training. She was starting to able to hit a little bit faster gait. She was holding it really well, but even when she was holding it really well, she couldn't hold it for longer. You know, my farthest distance was 2 miles max. Now, we were moving out pretty well, but I think our average speed was like 4.5, because I kept track with my watch. So I think it was about 4.5 miles an hour was our average moving speed, or something like that. And I could find out more. So I just wanted to make this video It's not a super popular video so far, judging by the views, but I wanted to talk about what it takes to get your horse in shape, and that it might be longer than you think. And if your horse is breaking gait, check and make sure that it's not because they're not just tired, which I definitely found. In one of the videos, because I can't remember which one, near the end, she was starting to break gait, and I think it was because she was tired. And so I mostly let her walk back. It might be this one. I'm not entirely sure. But recognize if your horse is actually tired, and that's why they're breaking gait. What I started to do was letting her gait slowly and actually let her do a lot more walking. Be aware, just like when we get tired and we're out of shape, it does affect us and it gets like really tiring. Maybe give your horse a break and do more walking. If your horse is fit, you know, you're fine. Just keep going. It's good. So we don't have any other questions. If you have questions and you missed the live video, post them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of Lottie, all of her videos are on the private training group. And I know it's getting cold and winter, but we're going to have more exercises you guys can do in the winter. I've got some fun things that I'm learning that I'm going to share with you guys, especially on the private training group. Not leaving you guys out, my adoring public, but the full videos will probably be on the training group, but there'll be some fun stuff coming, and I can't wait to see what everybody's able to accomplish this winter. You got this.